So Chelsea won. 10 men. Chelsea won. Disappointing, lackluster Arsenal won. Make sure you are subbing to Matty Southern Gooner. The link will be in the title. Make sure you check out Jez's fan cam, Kenny's fan cam. He was at the game. My fan cam. The emergency meeting's coming up. I think Carefree, Lewis, and Yasser are going to jump on. Although I need to check my text. But this is a football discussion show for entertainment and opinion only. Everything here is about sport. We do not involve politics, personal targeting, or hate. So, Matty, let's talk about the football, my friend. And what we witnessed today was a bad, poor advertisement for the Premier League in general. Players rolling around, feigning injury, pretending that they didn't make tackles that were leg breakers. Just a comedy show, really. The level of football in the game, quality-wise, I thought was poor. Players not being able to pass 5-yard simple passes all game, notably most of our players. But ultimately, we come out of there with a draw against 10 men. Shambles. What did you make of that, man?
Well, we came for 3 points, so we're going back with 1. And I talked to GJB there for about a good 45 minutes to an hour after the game, and we had a good discussion. And I told him, I said, you put everything into the Bayern Munich match, but fail to realize that you got to come with that same kind of intensity when you play games like Chelsea. We don't have the luxury of taking games off this year. That was 10 men. From the 36th minute, it was 10 men the entire game. Now, for those who don't remember, let's have a history lesson. Because last year when we played 10 men Fulham, what happened there? Drop points. We've dropped 3 games already. I think we've got 3 draws already this season. That was a possible 9 points right there.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, you're not winning the title this year, dropping 9, 10 games. We learned that last year. People are already going to, talking about Fulham. Well, we'll beat Fulham. Are you sure? Are you sure that we're going to beat Fulham? Every game is 1 game at a time. I felt like there were times there when Chelsea was vulnerable and we didn't exploit it. We didn't take advantage of it. And then I felt like times that we were, even with 10 men, they looked like they had 11 at certain times. They looked like they had 11 men at certain times. I think they took a page out of the Sunderland playbook, made it messy. And, a lot of teams are going to resort to that this year. Let's make the game messy. Let's start, stop. Let's start, stop, And that doesn't bode well for us. Manager, got it right the other night, but then today he, gets it wrong. I felt like we should have been going forward there, coming out off the break. We should have made some adjustments there to put some of these players under pressure. There's a lot of players out there on Chelsea's team sitting on yellow cards today. We didn't exploit that. And you've got to do that. Now we find ourselves in a situation here where we've got to win. We got to beat Brentford. You got to find a way. They've got Igor Thiago over there. He's sitting on 11 goals in 13 games. Nobody's talking about that because it's not sexy to talk about Brentford. So people are saying, "Oh, we'll blow past Brentford." Well, they got an informed strike over there, so that's going to pose a problem. And they play decent football over there, so that's going to be a game. But we're at home, and this is another point I wanted to make: is that we're not going to always have the confines of the Emirates this year. And we've got to learn how to go on the road, hostile environments. When you got the ref, which was Anthony, oh my God, that referee today, absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace today. But you've got to learn to rise above that, Lee. That's what champions do. So if we're in a title race and we're supposed to be going away from home, especially late in the season. See, this is why I said today, and I tell you, and you can verify this. I texted y'all this early this morning when I saw the lineup. I said, "Oh, this is good because now we'll get a chance to see what's what we're looking like." because these players are going. This is what we the only time now we'll have players out like this, and they're going to have to figure out a way to do this. And people are going to have to understand that yes, there's going to be some games. This is when it goes all the way back to the beginning of the year when I say adversity. We've got to figure out a way to start closing these kind of games out, winning these kind of games, and we've got to do it away from home. Referee against you, physical. We're going to see this again. This will not be the only time this year we'll see this. And the manager's going to have to learn when you're in a game like this, when you've got the advantage, build on it. In his mind, I told JB when we was on the phone earlier, I said, in his mind today, the manager looked at it. They've got 10 men. We'll eventually score. Yep. No,
that's what my mindset was.
yeah. Lee, that's exactly what your mindset was. Lee, when they've got 10 men, you have to make sure we score. That's the difference. There's two distinct differences there. One is you're operating the mindset of it'll just happen. The two is I'm being proactive and I'm going to make sure that we pounce on them and take advantage of it. And that's what we didn't do. And we paid the price for it. We paid the price for it. The one saving grace in this week is that we've got another Premier League match on Wednesday that can get us prepared for Saturday, because next Saturday is going to be just like this game today. It's going to be a knockdown, drag out for anybody who thinks that Aston Villa is just running the mill. Nobody's paying attention. They are on a roll, and they've been on a roll for most of this season, especially after that torrid start.
After the first 4 games or whatever, they've been relentless.
Yeah, and so now they find themselves looking, and they say, well, hey, they dropped points against Chelsea. If we can pick up points on Wednesday and we play them, we can pick up 3 points here, and then if we can get 6 points on Arsenal, they're having a different discussion. Meanwhile, City's over there looking after the weekend they had.
They're the biggest winners.
And then they've won this weekend. We won last weekend. They won this weekend. Who's winning next weekend? Could it be Villa? Could it be Sunderland or whatever?
Even Chelsea.
Proper Chelsea. They could even be there. This is how it's going to be. So this is why this week when I did my video, Arsenal math, for those who hadn't checked it, go check it out on my page. This is why I said in my video, do not start talking about winning a title until we're February or March, because this holiday fixture is going to carry all the way over to February the 7th. And there's a lot that can change between now and then. The one thing that we can do is put ourselves in the best possible scenario to win these games. And you've got to start doing that. You cannot be dropping 10 men Chelsea. I mean, brother, we was off our rocker. It was physical. It was one of those games where you got to stay
lying, cheating, diving,
and stealing. But you've got to find a way, Lee. I'm telling you. I know.
Well, that's what Man City did. Sorry to cut in. I watched the last 25 minutes of the Man City game yesterday. No, actually, I'm lying. I watched the second half of the Man City game yesterday. Yeah, and they were 2-0 up and coasting at half time. Obviously, missed the first half. All of a sudden, Leeds were like, yeah, cool, let's just go direct. Then they start flapping. What happens? Phil Foden found a way.
Yep.
Yeah. They're now sitting there pretty 5 points behind us. All the Sharks are circling. They always say the Daps, the Big Steves, the Martins, all these people. They always say we're within touching distance going into the new year.
This is what I'm saying. Is like, and we've got to learn. We've got to start learning how to take advantage of gifts like we were given today. They were down a man. On paper, that should be at least some points there, at least a win. And we failed.
It should be a comfy win.
Yeah, it should have, because it happened in the 36 minutes. But like I said, we would go forward, and then they would go forward, but then they were looking forceful going forward.
They scored first.
We look at the players today. Let me talk about something here. I want to address the issue. Address the issue right here. Soccer's got to stop being selfish. He has
just said that. Just said it. Kenny said it as well.
He's got to stop, because see, there were several chances there now, and I didn't say it in the broadcast because I wanted to save it for the fan cam. That he should have dropped the ball. There's a cutback.
Kenny just said the same shit. A cutback. Stuff.
Now, I've been watching football. I've played and I've coached. Nothing pisses me off worse than when a player's selfish. Let me tell y'all something. And I know this is going to trigger some folks when I say this. And I want folks to understand this in context about what I'm about to say. A world-class player makes players around them better.
Better.
Even though there's a possibility you could score, that fella standing over there is in a better situation than I am. I'm going to provide him with the opportunity to score a goal. And what he's probably thinking in his head is, I've got to get these numbers. Put those numbers out your head. It's about trophies now. You want to win trophies. Trust me, nobody's going to care anything about numbers if there's a trophy attached to your name.
Did anyone care about Darwin Núñez only scoring about 4 goals when they won the league last year? Nobody cares. He's a champion.
This is what I'm saying, Lee. And he's going to have to start looking at who, when he's playing, is in a better situation than him to score and provide that player with the opportunity to score. Because there were several chances there today, Lee, on the counter that we should have had something in the back of the net. But instead, he wants to go and wants to take the 15% chance shot as opposed to allowing somebody else to have a 75 to 85% chance shot. And that's one of the situations we find ourselves in. And that needs to be worked out. That needs to be addressed immediately by the manager. All right. Second thing, Zubamendi, once again. I'm telling you all, the game is flying by him. So let me tell you what happened. So Zubamendi comes off. Declan Rice got to go back. Marino goes back. Is there any coincidence that we were having a little trouble there towards in the last 20 minutes of that game, trying to get forward? People don't want to hear it. I know he's gone. Zubamendi is not Thomas Partey.
Nope.
And Declan Rice has to have someone that's beside him that can actually do the cleanup work and
the basics.
Deputize. Odegaard comes on for a couple of minutes there. He's all over the place. But what happened? He got sucked. They got sucked into
all the way back.
Yep. And then we're in a situation. We're getting on the counterattack and we're stopping our counterattacks to go play the ball back. That's a recipe for disaster. You're literally giving Chelsea an opportunity to dictate the play. Well, they want to keep going back. Well, we'll just let them do, we're not going to stop them. And that's what they did. And thus we end up with 1-1. Matt Wakey comes on today. He comes on today. He dribbles, then he goes back. Dribbles, then goes backwards. I want the same energy that we saw against Bayern Munich this week. If you can get up for Athletic, you can get up for Bayern, you can get up for Madrid,
Spurs, Man City,
all these other teams. That's Chelsea. That's Chelsea. You should want to take them to the sword.
And they're 6 points behind.
Yeah.
If you beat them, it's 9. They're done.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying, Lee. We've got to start. This is what I'm saying, Lee, is that you've got to start putting yourselves in the best situation possible. And we've got a lot of games coming between now and February 7th. We've got a lot of games, a lot of fixtures. We got some FA Cups involved here. We've got the Carabao Cup coming up. There's a lot getting ready to start going on. And I said this last week, and I'll say it again this week. Okay, you dropped the points. Well, what are you doing about it on Wednesday night? Are we making it up on Wednesday night? Because here's a chance to make up the points that we just lost. Make them up again, and then you got
to go and slap Aston Villa.
Yeah, so there's 6 points potentially to make up for this one loss. And if we don't do that this year, Lee, then we're going to find ourselves in a situation where objects in the rearview mirror look closer than they appear.
Yeah, and guess what? All of a sudden, you look over your shoulder and they're overtaken.
Yeah,
they drive City at top.
Yeah, you got Erling Haaland leaning out the passenger side, waving at you.
Yeah, going, stay humble, eh?
Yeah,
stay humble, eh? Yeah, November champions, eh?
Yeah, we got to tighten it up. And some of these players are going to have an assess. Eze, that's another one today.
They
didn't do well. He's going to have to tighten it up. Like I told you,
they all have, man. Well, listen, the only players that played well today, or I wouldn't even say well, they played all right with Declan, Marino, and Simba. Yeah, the goalkeeper was sus all game. But listen, we're going to wrap here. Matty, always appreciate you, man. I know you're not around for the podcast tomorrow, but what you got coming up next week?
Undecided as now. I might put out another video here, but we'll be there for Brentford Wednesday, so we'll be there for that. So
we will be there.
Yeah.
I'm going live right now. Make sure you sub to Matty Southern Gooner. It'll be in the title. I'm watching Antonio Conte leading 1-0 away with 17 minutes to go against Roma. Wow.
And I'm over here looking at mighty Girona take Real Madrid to the sword. 1-0.
We're out. Laters.